And now me as well, so thank you.
Yeah. It's called, I think it's called the bloop, if you're at all curious. You can look it up.
Is that for real?
Is that really called the bloop?
Yeah. It's because they have no means of identifying it. It's from the deepest depths of our ocean, and they sent out a sonar, and the noise came back. And it is believed to have come from a living creature that is 7 to 10 times larger than any living creature we are aware of on the planet.
Yep.
I have a deep fear of the ocean. The ocean is about as close to like a berserk eclipse as we're gonna get on Earth. And that
the ocean is really cool. Like scuba diving is one of the coolest experiences.
Nope.
It's like flying.
I've ever experienced.
Ocean is like fucking scary.
Yeah, until you touch some reef that burns you for some reason,
they tell you
and
not
then
to touch anything, bro.
Yeah,
don't touch it.
Coral.
Have you met
of course you don't touch it,
Adam?
but
He's gonna touch it.
Angle says bloop was.
But if you don't go in, it comes out at you. All right, so you might even go to touch something. Something might touch you.
Bloop was found to be an iceberg breaking off, but that sounds exactly like something that the government would tell you, just so you don't fucking panic and think like, okay, Godzilla or Cthulhu are actually down there.
I was pretty sure
maybe they broke
confirmed it as a living creature.
No, there's a lot of speculation back and forth, and honestly, I am of the persuasion that I want to believe. I want to believe that it is some enormous creature.
How old is this information? When was this reported?
Oh, dude, this was like early 2000. Like I want to say like 2001, maybe 99.
Oh, okay. So this is something that's okay. It's still sleeping.
Yes,
like
yes. Correct.
Sure.
If it is around, it's
If it been around.
It's 20 years and he hasn't
so it's rolled over and gone back to bed.
Yeah.
Everything's okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
It only comes out every 100 years.
1997. Okay. The icequake theory explanation came out in 2012. All right, perfect. Okay. Well, let's kick it off, guys. So this is a bit of a milestone for us. This was episode 30. We have episode 30 here, and well, we had a bit of a doozy of events that occurred last time. But first, I want to go over and I'm going to cover exactly what the Survivor is. The Survivor is the Harrow card, as brought to us by chat. Thank you so much, Sloth, for sponsoring today's Harrow card, my friend. So, the Survivor. It was typically meant to be a positively aligned card. More often than not, it is designed to allow a player to regain their Aegis. If all Aegises are had, the players will start sessions, the remaining sessions of the game, with temporary shields granted. So, given this would have swung into the favors of the players, this would have netted the players a temporary shield every session. However, it's not the case. Now, one of the players must lose their Aegis. If no Aegis are had, players start their days exhausted, and exhausted is the mechanical state. And at this point, the players now must come to a decision. They choose which player they believe should lose their Aegis. Now, the Aegis is essentially, it's a one-time chat revive per the character. Every character starts with one. Doesn't matter if they were at first an NPC or a PC. They all get one. And chat determines whether or not they live or die. Now, they have all cast their votes privately in direct Discord DMs. And I've written them down, so I'm not going to tell you who voted for what, but I will tell you that they've not been able to vote for themselves. So the first vote, Eli. The second vote, Tripp. Third vote, Tripp. Fourth vote, Temerity.
Ooh.
Fifth vote, Tripp. And the sixth vote and final vote is Tripp.
Oh.
You're gonna have to bring me your torch.
Yeah, right. Well, the chat.
Go to Temerity. I'm gonna beat your ass.
I did say vote for me. So to be fair, like I'm a little. I mean, I don't know why there were more votes for me.
Ronald has played in one of my games previously. He knows sort of how this operates. This wouldn't be his first go around with this. So you are bereft of your Aegis, meaning that if you die, there is no chat shenanigans to bring you back. You are just dead. What does it mean for your character? For the NPC? For the PC, per se? Well, it means generally that could mean very bad things for Peverin, because there will not be a remotely positive figure inhabiting that body. There's prisoners here, guys. Just lots and lots of really bad people, so it can't really mean good things. Either way, hopefully nobody dies. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. So what happened
We're probably all gonna die.
last time we played?
Sounds right.
What happened last time?
We had reconvened on our last session about the betrayal that I had put upon the group by giving the book to the Splatterman.
Yeah.
To Heen Ferriman specifically.
Correct.
With that deal, he agreed to leave the group alone and to drive off the other ghost. No, that was actually with Oz that he said that part. He agreed to leave us alone, and he would tell me, he would tell Tripp his real name. Once that happened, we kind of fast forward a little bit into Eli conversing with his god.
Yeah, he was
with,
praying.
Torag or praying to Torag. And kind of just getting some insight as to what, I guess how he puts forth his practice.
Yeah.
Being awoken, Eli was, I guess not, he wasn't awoken. His meditation had been rounding out, but it had been disturbed at the last part of it when Heen showed up and proceeded with, I guess, egging on the group. From there, Tripp took that time to grab the book from the bag, toss it in after some struggling between Oz and him, and he ended up getting the book and agreeing to tell Tripp
his name.
His name.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eli did not.
Let's wait just a second. Let's allow someone else to cover some things. Normally I would be down for it, but I want to hear what other things occurred from other players. If you have any more to add to what he said thus far, I'm definitely down to hear that as well. Like, is there anything specific that occurred during Eli's prayer?
Yeah, quite a few things. But I'll leave that to Eli to talk about.
What happened? Was this a simple phone a friend to Poppy upstairs?
Yeah, the candle turned black, which was weird.
The light, the flame.
Yeah.
And then after I was done praying, there were ashes
On your hands and in front of you.
that I collected.
Yeah, you did. What did you put them in? I'm just curious. Like in a flask, a vial?
No, I ripped off a part of my sheet from my bedroll and I tied it up in like a cloth pouch.
I don't feel like anybody has tore their clothing or their sleeping supplies more than you in this game. In like almost 20 years running this game. So hats off to you for utilizing your equipment in that way. So that's kind of huge. However, you might be cold in the future, so just keep that in mind.
It's okay, they're cheap.
Yeah.
I'll buy a new one.
They're very inexpensive. What else happened? I know Maggie's got a whole gaggle of things that she wrote down.
For when he was talking, or
Just in general, any other things that may have happened in that last session? It was a big session for Oz, too.
oh yeah, for sure. I didn't know if we were moving on to that. But there was a lot before that.
Mhm.
I know Tripp and Temerity had a conversation.
So
There
we
were
should also
multiple
mention
things.
that we were sort of like enhanced because of the card for that week.
Yeah.
So we were kind of adhering to, I don't know how to say it, like
You're mostly under the influence.
yeah. And Eli was pretty aggressive about his beliefs of what we should do.
True.
However, we left Temerity to deal with Tripp because, she's a
Inquisitor.
Thank you. Yes. So we kind of just, put it in her hands. And I think Eli was under the assumption that she would smite Tripp. I think
That's
that
what
should be
Inquisitors
noticed.
do. They kill undead things.
Yeah. And as far as Eli's concerned, Tripp's betrayal is, unforgivable. And I think maybe Torvin feels that way too.
So I gotta ask,
I also got rid of the dwarven Eider.
Yes, Eider, correct.
Yeah. So I tried to cast communal protection from evil on me and Pevrin.
Yes.
When Tripp basically was expelled from the body.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of casting that, it teleported Pevrin and I to Fearman or Splatterman down in the creepy, gross water.
Yeah.
We found out that he was a doctor and that he worked, or like it seemed like he worked at the school that MargaretKrohn did, and we found out that that Montagny is a master of necromancy, which I don't think we knew. He talked about some baubles in a small vault, and then later he tempted me with those.
He did, in fact. He
And
under
guess what?
under
Because
what?
of the card, and because of my rolls, we took it. It happened.
Okay. All right. So you were tempted. What was the agreement? You came to an agreement with the Splatterman. What was your agreement?
My agreement was that I would let Tripp go meet him, and if Tripp was to go to him and learn his real name, that he would give me the information about where the vault was.
Yeah.
But only me.
But only you, that's right. That was your deal with Splatty. Splatty was, not necessarily thrilled about some of the turn of events. He didn't like having those things hucked at his face, courtesy of Eli. But hey, bygones be bygones. He got what he needed.
Yeah, and when I was teleported away, they were all kind of left there, and then they left Tripp and Temerity alone, while Pecker, Eli, and Ryan Torvin went to basically figure out where Oz was.
Yeah. Wyld, what can you remember about last episode?
Being enraged, being frustrated every turn. The most key thing I think was Torvin basically just being reeled around by all these events around him, and has just picked up the last remnants of that we have of the cursed items, and drunk a potion as spider climb. And but he's starting to go downstairs to find out what's going on down there, because rather than letting the ghosts win, I thought we'd actually go down there and do some damage to them instead.
Sure.
So we've got a way down there, and we're beginning to explore.
Okay. All right. So we do have that much. You did separate. It's my favorite thing when the players decide that they are going to split the party. It makes the story that much more interesting. Their fates are suddenly dangled on a thread. And in this case, Torvin might wake up a week from now if he dies, or he might not. We're not sure. There's a lot to learn still about Torvin. A lot of things that I don't even think he knows. You did find something else about the Splatterman. He revealed something, particularly to Oz, in regards to MargaretKrohn.
That he was a master of necromancy?
That he was a professor. He taught a lot. He was learning a lot, but that he had done something specifically to Montagny.
Yeah, his wife, right?
Oh, he killed his wife.
He killed his wife.
Yeah. We knew that, yeah.
Yeah, he killed his wife. So that's not going to go so well. What do you think Splatterman's intentions are at the moment? Anybody, feel free to answer.
Revenge plot.
You think it's a revenge plot?
He wants to
Say that again. You kind of roboted out.
Oh. It says my internet's unstable or something.
Gotcha.
I said he wants to wreck that succubus.
Yeah, he does. He wants to get back at the succubus who did these things to his mind. Sure. Okay. All right.
I think he's gonna go murder some more people.
I'm worried about the town.
Yeah.
Misty, we discovered that not so much Peverin. I mean, I guess Peverin a little bit, but more so Tripp. Tripp has daddy issues. Can you recall much about his daddy issues?
His dad is the reason he was in jail. He basically stole money from where is it? I'm at full disclosure, I woke up about 15 minutes before we started. Because I am
like
just
large scale money movement.
Yeah, like
Nadal.
but it was Nadal. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
The Assassin's Guild and
yes.
Nadal.
And Tripp took the fall, ironically, for his dad, who told him he would get, he just basically like serve your time. It's like, it sounds like classic mafia stuff, right? Like, so you're gonna protect me and stay in jail for a while, and then but you'll get out and everything will be fine. That's not obviously really what happened.
It is very
He's a
Succession,
ghost.
right? I think everybody's been watching that.
Have there been any people in Harrowstone that we've met that actually had a living spouse?
Other than the other than the warden. No.
Nobody that you've met.
they're
There are some
dead.
NPCs. There are NPCs that do
The
have
parents of the kids that I looked after during the fire.
that was
Garovin was.
that was a spouse that was attacking the man. She had oh no, other way around. The man was attacking the wife. That's some interesting perception. You've noticed that a lot of the SOs, the significant others in the world, particularly in Ravengrow, are dead. There might be a reason for that.
I mean, they were resurrected and attacked by their loved ones as well.
Yeah,
It was weird.
they attacked their loved ones for sure. It's a bit messy, but that's okay. I mean, for me, right? Not so much for you guys. Temerity, you made a decision. You were asked to step up and decide the fate of Tripp.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I was told to kill him.
Yeah.
There was no asking, and there was no like it was kind of an order in a way for something that was like, you do this. Okay, well, that's not my job. You're not my Inquisitor supervisor. So I
said I trust that you can take care of it.
That's true,
What I
but it
said.
was the implication. You're right, but the implication
I was
rather
implying,
clear.
but I didn't
were
order
on
you
a
to
boat.
do anything.
You didn't really say you weren't going to do it too.
Yeah, well, and I didn't agree to it. I also did take care of it in the way that I saw fit. So
You didn't really disagree with it either.
right, like
So, yeah.
she made a choice, and whether that choice ends up to be the right one or not, she decided that Tripp. It seems like Tripp is just not here of his own accord, and he's not like he's
a
I don't know,
victim.
yeah, he's less undead, but because he wants to like wreak havoc on the world, and more like stuck. And he has shown remorse in the past, and he has been she really was one of the ones who believed that he did not do what he was trying to that kid super maliciously, right? Like it was a defense mechanism, and that was because that other kid was possessed. And so she doesn't have the same vitriol towards him that others might, and was more than willing to see how this plays out, because there's limited choices. If we kill Tripp again, what happens to the kid?
Right.
And I'm not entirely convinced, after what we were seeing with the kid moving, with Tripp moving, that they're not connected in some way, and that if Tripp dies, what happens to Peverin? Does Peverin die too? I don't know. So it was worth it to find out. And so she let him do his thing, and he did. He followed through. He brought Temerity to Peverin. That was her request, and then he just like kept going.
Yeah, he did.
Down the well or the hole, or in my head it's a well. I don't know why.
Couple of extra bits here. Tripp, what's your name?
Ronald.
What
No, I'm
is
kidding.
your
It's,
character's name, you jackass?
It's Silwith Ashworth.
Silwith Ashmore.
It was Ashworth.
Was it?
It was Ashworth.
Ashworth, yeah.
Why would I got a note here that said it was Ashmore?
And then his father was Visharo.
Visaro. Yeah, Visaro.
Visharo Ashworth.
Yeah. Somebody in the group remembered that name. That would be Ello. You remembered Visaro.
Mm.
You remembered hearing the name Visaro Ashworth. It's not quite a boogeyman, but he did something through Nadal, through Caliphus, through many of the cities. Can you recall that?
I know it has to do with the assassins. Was he? I can't remember. I can't remember. Maybe something like
Help him out.
Kids or something like that.
Can anybody remember exactly what Visaro's role was?
He was moving money around for Nadal, and there was some secret assassin group as well.
Laundering money for the Nadal's Assassins Guild.
Yeah. That he wasn't quite, he wasn't the hitman, he wasn't the cleaner, right? He was just a guy
He's noble.
who helped move their money around, launder it to a degree, and I guess call hits, so to speak, something to that degree, pass along work. But that's how Rye had heard about him. Heard about him in Nadal, seen some of the influence of that Assassin's Guild elsewhere. They're
They
proficient, they're quiet.
They lived 4 towns over, not in Nadal.
The bookkeeper.
Yeah.
But I had never done work with them.
No, because they pretty much just deal in death. The very few times that I feel like Rye would have done things in regards to death, it's like a life or death situation. More along the lines is he's the kind of guy that likes to leave his mark and let them walk around with that mark consistently.
I don't know, Bub. There's a lot about Ryan you might not know.
Ooh, I'm here for it. You guys did discover some more things about the sheriff. Can't forget that bit.
Oh, right. He's basically just
Yeah.
like
Xerox copies.
We're in the prestige. It's basically it.
He really loves his job so much he did it a second time. And then he did it again. And again. And again.
So do you really think that Kendra is lying?
I think she's lying through her teeth.
And more importantly,
No,
how do you think Kendra saw his death?
Oh, she might have been in the prison. If he
There
continually
might have
dies
been
in the
an
prison,
earlier version that she saw.
That's true.
Yeah. And then especially like if he's playing like ancestor, like pretending to be ancestors of himself, like, oh, that was my grandfather, oh, it was my uncle, like stuff like that.
So, okay, hold on though. If
The vampire defense.
if it's 50 years old, right? The fire happened 50 years ago, and there was 8. You said 8 corpses,
Yes.
right? And then
Yeah.
there's the presumably living corpse. Who knows? Outside.
The current.
So that's the current, right? The current iteration. So that's 9. And like, let's say there was one more that came out. Well, so 10. So that's, I mean, every 5 years, right? Right? That math checks out. Every 5 years, there's a new one. That's not an aging thing. That's like a, oops, I screwed up my body thing, or my body just expired thing. It feels like. And those are the ones we know about. I don't know. It feels
like
really
temporary vessels kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. It feels really weird. And they each have, oh, actually, here's a question. I don't know if you can answer it. Do they each have the sheriff badge on them, or?
Yes, they did.
With the exception of one at the very start had guard Kaler.
Right, but was it like an embroidered thing, or was it like a badge?
They were all
were there-
badges, but the first one was embroidered.
7 different badges.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because why wouldn't you just like yoink the badge off of? So are there like 15 iterations of him somewhere that he doesn't know about? Like, right? Like, why don't you just take? That's what bugs me. Why don't you just take the badge?
Let me.
And
go ahead, Ella. What do you have? You're muted though.
Doppelgangers. Hear me out, okay?
Mimics.
Doppelgangers.
Oh, it's a mimic.
I will answer your question with another question. Do you think that Benjamin Kaler was a studied and skilled and talented blacksmith. And how difficult is it, do you believe it is, to make a 10-star or the equivalent of a sheriff's badge?
It's
So
not
Jorf was
difficult,
making
but
them-
It's not hard, but it's why?
Thank you. Why would you? Why would you leave copies of something?
Maybe he's just a prankster.
Well, I think it's something. I think in game it's something we can go off of because Tripp remembers him.
Right.
Tripp's seen him as Guard Kaler. So if I see him again, and I'm out and about, I'm gonna be like, hey, like, what's going on?
Hasn't Tripp seen him
Yep.
in the
in Harrowstone?
in
When
the
he was a guard.
house?
In the
would-
house,
yeah.
yes. But Tripp
So
couldn't remember
I
it.
didn't.
Right. Okay.
Tripp's
Yeah, I didn't-
memory
I didn't
was
have the
was
memory.
sort of trapped. It sort of unlocked a few things when he found out his name. He remembered so many things. He remembered about the crying in his cell, the one guard that actually seemed to give a shit about him, because down where he's tucked away in the oubliette is not a great place.
I love that word.
It's a really, really terrible place where there are really horrible prisoners. So can you imagine that the goading that the equivalent of a young man that's not a criminal, doesn't have negative thoughts whatsoever, would suffer in a gulag, right? Like a super prison with all of these absolutely horrible prisoners. Those multiple weeks that he was there was probably the closest you're gonna get to hell. And then he died. So Tripp is very much a victim, and admittedly he might be playing into the Wraithen aspect a bit, but he doesn't really have a choice. He certainly could have done many worse things. He was right when he said that he's had opportunities to kill everyone, but he's acted against it.
Well,
I think there's
buddy.
some flesh.
Yeah,
Thanks for not
pal.
murdering us when you could.
I feel so much better now about letting you live.
But you know what? While he has opted out of killing people, he's tried his best not to lie to many people. He may run around, he may be tricky, but there is a particular character in your group that has had a bit of a penchant for lying. And that's where our session had ended last time, with a lie being exposed, even inadvertently.
I didn't lie. I just didn't tell
The truth?
them everything.
Lying by omission.
They didn't ask me if I made a deal.
With our major opponent that's trying to kill us.
I think I did. I said, "What are you getting out of it?"
Oh yeah, you double nat one. I remember
Oh,
that.
Yeah, you doubled
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Oopsie doodles.
You missed
Oopsie
it.
doodles. I
Yeah.
love it.
Maggie's
Temerity
like,
caught it though.
nobody asked. No, we did. Okay.
Well, you rolled bad.
Perfect. Okay. Then that is where we return. Our story will wind back to that very moment. Right after those moments when we had just discovered that the jig is up. The lie is perpetuated. Audibly so, it's spoken from the mouth of Peverin in the voice of Fiend Harriman, also known as the Splatterman. He says that he'd made a deal with the goblin. And now that this has come to pass, that one shall too. And we begin again there. I'm going to affix this camera in this moment, specifically to Eli. I want us to start here. This is an interesting moment. Eli, those words just fell from Peverin's mouth.
Oh, is this after I was lied to?
Yes. Fiend Harriman speaks through Peverin and says that a deal had been struck between him and Oz the Goblin. And now that this has come to pass, that shall too. Because we ended our session right there. Now, I want to know how Eli is going to feel about this in this moment, in this situation.
He's very angry.
I like the cobalt calm before the storm.
I just have to think about how to handle this.
And we all heard this, correct? Like the whole group, it was very like lit open.
With an exception to Torvin, who is roughly
Correct.
30 feet plus some odd dozens more away, listening to Gutter speak.
Yeah, he's hearing the other side of the conversation.
Mm.
not being able to decide.
I guess Eli will call down to Torvin, who's still on the move, and he'll be like, "This one here too's a liar, just like the other one. I told you not to trust them. We need you back up here, Torvin. This one's gone and made a deal with the ghost as well."
Torvin, you can hear Eli from above.
Right through your smelly teeth.
I only did what? Well, Tripp seems determined to find his name, so I just agreed that if he did get his name, that I would get something in return, that's all.
Oh, now that you've been caught, you want to tell the truth.
I found some bodies down here.
Yeah, I think they probably need to stay down there.
Right.
Half of our group can't be trusted.
Temerity, surely it's not a moment of just sincere quietness. I imagine that you're probably weighing over the consequences of the direct lie. Temerity, you were aware that Oz was hiding something, likely the truth, as Oz has done multiple times, and you've managed to catch him in said situations. Right. This almost supersedes Mums.
Rye's just kind of keeping an eye on Eli and seeing how far he wants to go with this.
Okay.
Rye,
Yeah.
Rye's actually not as bothered about a lie here or there, especially coming from Oz, because he feels like Oz has good intuition. So
okay,
he sort of trusts that Oz was doing something ultimately good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm lawful neutral, so I'm not gonna yeah, I think you should tell the truth, but is there a point here? Let's see how it plays out. But I'll give Oz kind of like the
I'm
room.
chaotic neutral,
Sure,
so.
the room.
are you what? Right? What do you I know.
I'm evil, so.
Then Oz, that there's that open air, right? And Temerity's giving you the look of floor is yours, kid. Explain yourself.
I said something. Yeah, I already explained.
Okay.
Yeah, I told them.
And what exactly are you getting then?
I'm gonna roll sense motive on Rye.
You're gonna roll it on yourself?
No, on Oz.
Okay. Oh, on Oz.
I'm trying to detect, I feel like Rye might know this is a lie, but how deep,
Oz is telling the truth now. He was lying earlier.
Yeah, the ghost spoke through.
I thought
it
was
child.
very. See, it comes across to Rye like you're being super ambiguous, and so I think he feels like you're lying again.
Sure.
So I'm gonna roll sense motive.
Sure, go for it.
Oz answers your question, Eli, and is like, well, he offered to tell me where some baubles were, some kind of vault with some baubles. I mean, it only works if Tripp gets his name.
Right,
So
but
you're going to backstab us for treasure.
I didn't backstab you. I just said that if Tripp gets his name, that I would get the vault information.
So you're assisting the ghost that I'm hunting down actively.
I didn't assist anyone.
But you just said that your deal hinges on you assisting Tripp.
Well, I didn't have to assist him. He just had to get his name. And it was only if he got his name. So if he didn't get his name, well, the only thing I lose out on is not knowing where the vault is, which I already didn't know where it was to begin with.
I'm
But I
sorry,
knew there
did
was
we
a vault.
come here to help these ghosts or to put an end to them and save this town?
I'm gonna let you
I didn't
know.
realize we were down here talking
I-
to genies that granted wishes.
I don't think I was going to be able to survive if I didn't make a deal with him.
Temerity, you said you sense the utmost of transparency from that. You You believe it. There is no roll for it. You just believe that that is accurate. Oz.
Do I believe it?
That's up to you. There is such a thing as rolling a sense motive, and still without like even the highest of rolls, regardless of what you roll, you just believe that they're wrong, that they're in doing so under the scrutiny of their own behest, whatever's positive for them, so to speak.
So then, Oz, you're saying that if your life hadn't been threatened, you wouldn't have made the deal.
I don't know. Maybe not.
All right, then. There you have it.
Torvin, as you near the breach in the floor, you can hear this. It's Eli. I wouldn't say he's quite scolding, but he's sternly demanding answers.
What sort of madness is this? Have you all lost your minds? I don't understand. Is everyone okay with this?
I don't think the path to saving this town and saving this prison is as direct as you feel it is right now.
Well, releasing spirits onto the world to kill innocent people isn't either.
I don't know that anyone has willingly done that.
I might have told a
think
lie
Tripp
to get
did.
out of. Oh, sorry. Rye just speaks up and just says, if I was in Oz's situation, I might have told a lie too. Get away from whatever's going on down there.
Which would have been more understandable than saying he doesn't know if he would have done it or not.
But maybe.
I have a hard time believing Oz would do anything to put any of us in any danger. In fact, Oz is usually the first.
You mean like blowing a flute?
I didn't have control. I was compulsed.
Wielding an axe.
I don't think that's very fair.
If we're going to forgive one, we need to forgive all. For that, I don't believe it was in their power to stop what they were doing in those moments.
Do climb up, Torvin.
I move away from them. I start to slowly make sure the bottom area here is safe, so when they do decide to come down here and do their job finally, it's okay for them.
Okay, sure.
Am I to believe then that you think Tripp was under some sort of control when he willingly gave the book and it wasn't a selfish act?
You know, the spider climb will not last much longer. As you've cleared the area, you can climb up the rest of the way. I'll say that the potion ends just as you arrive at the surface.
No, I agree with you on that one, Eli.
That was a
But-
selfish act.
I tried
True.
to get the book. I casted Featherfall on it and was trying to grab it, but I couldn't grab it in time.
No, I did see that. And I do understand fearing for your life and trying to talk your way out of a situation. It's not something I would have done, but I could see you maybe doing that.
Not everybody has a paladin's resolve.
I almost died getting kicked by a horse.
Well, I don't think that Oz has made the situation any worse, since the agreement was something that Tripp had already been promised. But I do not appreciate being lied to by those I'm supposed to trust have my back.
I think that's fair.
I
But
understand.
can I trust
that.
you not to harm anyone while I go check on Torvin?
When you glance down, you can see that Torvin is already beginning his scale back up the shaft itself. He's not far. Won't be probably much more than 10, 15 seconds.
Okay, and he's still walking like just straight up.
Crawling.
Spider.
It's like bear climbing up the wall itself.
Okay.
You hear the sounds of something shifting. The sound of like a cloth raking against dirtied stone. Gravel being shifted away when you see that Peverin is sitting up on his elbows before pushing himself into like basically ass down first, legs out in front of him.
Well, Oz may be a liar, but I think at least that is more understandable. But Tripp is beyond saving at this point, in my opinion. I don't know what we're going to do, but that creature is lurking in here somewhere, and the boy's body already has had another specter talking through him.
Do we need an unknown specter talking through that boy if we don't have Tripp?
Peverin's body stands up as they continue the conversation.
Do you say anything, or do you just play the part?
No. As Tripp stands up, he looks over to Temerity first, and gives her a nod, and then looks back over to Eli. I'm sorry, but I do have a name. My name isn't Tripp. That's what the other guards called me. And you can see, like, very, like, abruptly just, like, writes his, like, little, like, leather, like, coat and starts checking himself. Okay. Temerity, Rome, Eli, Torvin, Oz.
Torvin arises from the hole at this point, pushes himself off the ground, and rises quickly.
You can see Tripp going through like a set of motions.
I'm gonna take a look at Torvin. What does he look like coming out of the?
Torvin looks a little dusty. His hands are quite a bit more dirty. The oubliette has not been touched in some time, and you're also looking at the point of origin for the fire. So I imagine that he has some carbon stains on his hands, likely across any of the cloth of his armor, the knees, the boot. If he had at any point touched his face, maybe he's got like a rub of charcoal or like carbon across the cheek, but nothing that he doesn't look any worse for wear, right?
I'm 90% dirt.
Brass balls on this one going down there.
Still with will help clean off Torvin.
Torvin. Peverin.
I step away from Peverin.
Takes a few steps and you step back. He does not welcome your advances.
Still have those manacles, Torvin.
Aye.
I know he can just leap from the body, but I'd rather not
wouldn't
get
be a point in
my
doing
throat
that.
slit in the middle of the night.
Well,
You really think I'm out to kill you?
I think you're out for yourself.
And
they're
no one
in
else
my
here
backpack.
is.
I pick up Eli's backpack and begin to walk towards a door.
Okay. How does Oz look? Oz, are you feeling kind of relieved, knowing that the pressure is off at this point?
Yeah. Oz, when he's like nervous and stuff, usually gets like quiet, which is weird for him, right? Because he's normally like super jovial and talks a lot. So he's just kind of like trying to, if no one notices me, maybe. Maybe they'll not try to murder me for lying and making
We
you
looked
deal
after
with...
your pecker when you went missing. How could you lie to us?
Oz scoops up his pecker.
As you move nearest the door, there is a slight shake and rumble in the foundation of the facility and structure that you stand in. And then the sound of what can almost be remarkably remembered as skittering feet. Not of an insect, something more akin to mice or rats. And the sound is arriving from the hole in the middle of the room. Do you glance down, or does anybody glance down this this particular hole?
I will.
Yeah, Oz will look. I think probably Oz is still standing by the
Sounds
hole.
like rats. I'm gonna take a peek.
I'm drawing an arrow because I want to shoot something quickly.
I'll have both daggers drawn.
You want us to roll perception checks?
Yes, please. Yes, please. This is going to be difficult for I guess Rye and
19.
Eli.
I'm technically in a human body, so I would,
Oh my
if it's
gosh,
low light or
Torvin.
like that.
Natty 1.
Do we have rerolls?
Yeah,
Luckily
you
it's
guys
a
have,
skill,
have
so
two.
you don't.
Interestingly enough, you only need a 10 in order to succeed.
Oh,
You see in the dark.
that's not good.
For a human, this is quite a bit more difficult, especially if you rolled low. You will see it, inevitably, as it rises. There appears to be what looks like a soft purple glow, an iridescence, almost like a foam rising up, not like a mist. And there is a figure anointed in the center. It rises very, very slowly, probably about a foot every 2 or 3 seconds. Does anybody take any reaction whatsoever, or do you wait it out? There has been no hostile reaction whatsoever.
Oz just says, I think there's something coming up.
I'll ready the silver war razor in my left hand, what's my main hand, in the event that it tries to lunge out and attack or something.
Sure.
I want to roll perception to actually look around the room and see if anything else is going on.
Okay, go for it.
Sure.
I'll grab my shield and hammer and ready an attack if something comes up.
Okay.
Do we have any rerolls?
Yeah, you guys do. You have 2 luck rerolls.
I'll just do one.
Sure. That's significantly better. Rye, as far as you can tell,
21.
there is nothing that seems to immediately leap out of you as out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Because you broke 20, I will say that there does appear to be what looks like mice or rats. Not dire rats, nothing of that sort, nothing that would be remarkable as an enemy, but enough so that they're just the only living inhabitants of this place. They seem to be
their way out,
scurrying through the room that you're in, out the door, nearest the exit, as far as you can tell. It's difficult to see them, but when your eyes focus, you can see them moving behind structures, under the legs of tables, before making their way out of the room. It would take a very keen eye to pick them up, but you were able to.
If I see any of that, I'm gonna try to smack them.
Do
If I
I
see any of those?
Rye does let the group know what's happening.
Can I use knowledge engineering to say this is like the normal movement of rats, or is something coming?
Sure, knowledge engineering might help you. This might help you determine what this might be. Torvin, based on what you're told, and he kind of points it out, they're staying pretty far away from all of you. They're not running through the center of the room. They're running on the outside of the room. In fact, they were likely here the entire time, but something is stirring their greater sense of survival. And now they're fleeing on the outskirts of the room. They're following the wall. It generally means that they're trying to survive. You pick that up quickly.
Get to the wall, people.
You
Yeah,
said
we
there
should
was like a
back off.
purple light or something like
Yes.
that? Can I discern what that might be with like Arcana or something?
This would be a difficult check, and not many of you could make this. I think that you might be able to. Your best venture is a guess, but yeah, you could try.
Would it be better to do Arcana or like Spellcraft?
Arcana.
Okay.
While that's happening, I'll take the words and head to the wall.
14. I will also follow Torvin's lead.
Okay.
Whatever Torvin's doing, I'm gonna copy it.
Rye, do you as well, Temerity?
Oh yeah, Rye was trying to get everybody to
Back up.
move in the direction of the rats. Yeah,
Okay.
back up.
Temerity, do you back as well?
I will prepare a spit.
Yes.
And how about Eli? Your
I'm gonna
allies
stay
have
near
backed
the
up.
hole with my shield up.
Okay. All right.
Like
After
where my character's positioned right now.
After roughly a minute, you finally see a figure appear from this outstretched 10-foot hole, and it takes on the silhouette of a man. You can see a very transparent veil of flesh masked over a skull. They take on the visage of a man, not quite portly, but carried a much larger frame. He's not strong in shoulder. He seems to be scholarly. There's not much in the way of hair either. You would guess this because he's carrying a tome just across his chest. When he glances to you, there is nothing, and the pivots and holes of his eyes. But when the face moves, you can see the skull beyond it move as well. The skin just faintly stretched over the top. And where normally most of you would expect to hear the sounds of gutter speak, that nasty guttural clashing of teeth and the mincing of tongue, instead, you hear a very common tongue. Words. It's fine to finally get to meet you.
I am, after all, grateful. And here, at the top, I never thought I'd find myself out of this place. Hain Fairman, not quite at your service.
He peers to look at each of you, before finally seeing the boy.
Silwith. You run with a ragtag lot. Not so sure you'll survive this one, but that's your problem, not mine. I'll be on my way now. Thank you for giving me a birth of space. There is, after all, a target that I wish to seek. She's not from this plane, but she'll know my wrath. I wish that we don't meet again. It certainly won't make for a good time.
Rye yells out as much as he can. What danger?
You say what danger?
Yeah, like what danger? Like what he said? Didn't he say something about that we were in trouble but it had nothing to do with him? You know, he was getting out of here.
He was suggesting to Peverin, to Silwith, that the dangers around him are not necessarily always in these walls.
Gotcha. Okay,
it might be the ones you travel.
He's referring to you guys.
Yes, I misunderstood.
His eyes, or where they might train as the head follows and leans over, they see to you, Eli. You're the only one that immediately stands in a position to accost him, physically, or even verbally so. No one has attempted to say anything that would even be remotely viewed as negative or hostile.
Yeah, I'm
1v1 bro. Come on.
This is open story, open narrative.
Eli's gonna hold up his hammer to him and say, "You foul spirit, you better not take any innocent lives, or it'll be my wrath that you face."
Do you actually believe in that?
He pauses.
I must ask.
I am here if you wish to test my resolve.
I dare not test your resolve. I don't have the patience or the time for it. But you emblazon yourself with Torag. Yet you bear the mark of the Ashen Forge. Interesting. Who is lying to whom?
I don't know what this Ashen Forge is you speak of.
Perhaps you should study a bit more on your religion. It's a shame. It's base level entry studies at the university. Enroll yourself. Speak to Montagne. I'm sure he'll offer you a 101. For what it's worth, we're not on good terms. I wouldn't recommend saying my name.
Unlike my other friends here, I don't think I'll be taking any of your recommendations.
You know,
And he looks back to the rest of you.
I never did like the paladin sword. All hailfire, brimstone, murder bring about the divine and end all of those that are meant for unjust. I suppose it's necessary for some. It's rather daunting. Necessary?
It's rather surprising that a serial killer such as yourself would dislike someone like me.
I didn't say that I dislike. It just makes me realize that you don't have many friends. The lines must be skewed.
It's either friends or the forge.
Sully, you're just monologuing and being all so nasty and insightful and telling us how we look. You're an unghosted gooby thing that just got power over us, and now you're lording it. Look, if you keep doing this, you will die again. Off your turtle, do your job. We don't care about you and what you're saying, and you know it.
Torvin, I need a will save.
That was the best.
Can't he do like a diplomacy?
Are you happy with a 15?
15 is pretty
Oh,
good,
reroll.
though.
Okay.
Shit.
There you go.
22.
Much better.
Wow.
You suffer the
Worth the
lesser.
reroll.
You suffer the lesser of evils in this situation. You only take partial. You feel pain starting to rise up in the jaw, the upper and the lower. That sense of blood starts to permeate, washing over your tongue, that mouthful of copper and nickels. You feel it run just over the front of your lip. And then there's a cracking noise as two of your teeth fall out into your mouth.
Let's spit them out.
Do I see that?
Yeah. Does the group recognize what just happened?
You just
Roll an
broke your
initiative on
word.
us.
I mean,
You just broke your word.
you can see him spit teeth.
If I think he's been hurt, then I'm gonna try to reach out and lay on hands this guy.
Do you think he's been hurt?
Oh, shit.
We're probably gonna die, but if I do that.
Do you think he's
Ryan's
been
gonna
hurt?
roll intelligence to see if he can
Let's
put the
go.
pieces together.
Let's go.
Ryden doesn't quite get that he's hurt. He's kind of just looking. He's like, did he just spit his teeth?
I mean,
He's just
you
looking
you
down.
glance down and you see cracked teeth that he's spit. But as you say that, as you say that before Eli, you have that moment where you're like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna lay this out.
Interesting of
Eli,
you to
give
cast a stone.
the touch.
You know, you're one that's tainted with death too. A soul follows you, a small girl.
Oh,
Guessed that you might not have done that one on purpose than an accident. Shame.
He doesn't move his legs. In fact, you've noticed this entire time he doesn't seem to have what looks to be legs. When he starts to shift and move, what you can see through that almost ambient, glowing purple are skeletal arms lifting him and pushing him forward, driving him in the destination of his choice.
Is that towards Torvin?
No, it's
Do I
to the
get
door.
lay on hand.
You can do just that.
If Eli acts, Rye acts.
I need to know, before you do so, who has the charms?
Torvin has all of the stuff.
Whoever had the bag, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yep. I didn't even bring Torvin's bag with me, which is why he was gonna go back for the manacles earlier. Yeah.
Okay, are you actually going to go through with this? Are you going to lay on hands this guy?
I mean, my character
Lay on
would
hands and
after he
do
hurt
it.
one of us.
you've got to make that decision. You can't you know that he did something.
Eli is going to use lay on hands on this motherfucker.
So then Eli
for
just
sure.
just perceives that he did something hostile.
I mean, I can roll perception. If he's spitting out blood and teeth and saying that he broke his word, the only promise he made was not to hurt any of us when he was given the book. So, I mean, logically...
Go for it.
He's gonna bad touch.
I don't want to go for it.
Go for it.
No, do it.
Man.
Do it. That's what you got to do it. Do it.
I think it's just...
Gotta do what's in your heart, man, in your
Yeah.
soul. Just like I did when I
Eli's
made that
heart.
deal.
Listen to your heart.
My character's such
He's
Chad.
not going to be ready for
To
this.
your hands.
Thank you.
When they're
He
calling.
probably doesn't think
for
we
you.
would attack him. Yeah.
Thank you for picking up what I was putting down.
Yes.
This is gonna be a deadly fight for us, though, you guys. Like, there's a high chance of TPK
Yeah, just
here.
throwing this out there. I still
cool
have
with
the
Maybe he'll
Pharasma
run.
blade, right? I still have
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I
I
think
have it.
yes.
No, I have
Oh, you do it? Okay, cool. Oh, that's right.
Oh.
For
then-
specifically
Yeah,
for Tripp.
Yes. That doesn't mean I won't
26.
quickly give it to you,
It's-
but
That's true. You guys gave it to her because you wanted her to kill him in the other room. That's why
That
she
is
has
true.
it.
Oh,
Okay,
so-
that's why I double check.
But you could get it
My-
from her.
I'm level 4 now, so I deal 2d6.
2d6, correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't roll 2 ones. You mother trucker touches him for 2.
Eli,
Ooh, that's not bad.
Pretty good
That's not bad.
you take a step forward and put your hand where you would expect would touch the body of the man. And as your hand goes out and you start to channel your faith, something grabs yours. Something grabs your wrist and redirects it. It clutches on tightly. You can feel the bones of a skeleton wrapping its fingers around your wrist, squeezing, cutting off that circulation. And the man turns, looking at you. This time you can steadily see the darkness in his eyes.
You and I were both cast in the Ashen Forge. You may burn the others here, but me? No, it is but a cold wash. Take your time, boy. The first is free. All in the other and after in that will cost you. And I'll start with your 3 Das.
The grip is released.
Them's be fighting words. He just said he's gonna come for your daddies.
He turns.
I'm
Yeah.
looking at Temerity, and I'm
also
signaling
my-
to her to toss me the sword.
My only weapon that I have didn't work, and he
I'll toss
said
it.
it's not going to, so I'm pretty powerless now.
Would
I'll
you
toss
like me
the-
to roll to catch this thing, or?
Yeah, he-
I mean, you guys are like right. You guys are right next to each other.
yeah, I'll hand it to him.
If as soon as Ray grabs that sword, he attempts an attack with it.
Go for it. Make your attack.
Sure.
I might like Tripp, but I don't like this
no,
motherfucker.
I
Right?
said
Like-
if you act, I act, man.
Maybe he'll
I'm
give
letting
you
the
next-
arrow fly.
And I'm not
Extra
like, listen, I know better than to let people make threats on people's families and let them fucking float off. All right, so we're gonna take our shot.
That's
If
true.
I didn't try something, then my entire like
You wouldn't be honoring your
decision
character.
with Tripp
Right.
Yeah.
like is not justified. I'm
You
not
just-
like, oh, we'll just let him go. No
Yeah, you're
problem.
like, kill Tripp, but
You
like,
flat
don't
wouldn't be
kill this
honoring your
big
character.
ghost.
Right. Well, and I'm in the
Um,
same boat. I'm also gonna. I give him the sword, but I'm also gonna prep. And then of course
I'm gonna
it'll be
re-roll
wild
that.
magic, but whatever.
He just floated right up on us to talk. Like, you don't know, we're here to kill you. I know you got your magic sweet book and you're gonna kill us now, but
Nice.
All right.
Better damage too.
That was my last reroll. So
Yeah.
That.
That is going to hit. Rye. Torvin. Yours is an even or an odd.
I'll do an odd.
Okay.
I'm also using I've got 2 arrows with skulls in them.
yeah, send a tooth at him. Shit.
Do you remember what your arrows are?
I have 5 arrows that are chameleon style and 2 arrows that have skulls.
Okay. That's what I needed to know. You said even. It's an odd.
Did I say even?
I thought you said even. I can roll it again. You can call it again.
I thought I said odd, but I don't remember.
Did he say odd?
I don't remember either.
I don't remember either, chat.
I want to trust chat, but also, dear Lord.
We have a recording.
Okay.
Chat says everybody says odd.
Everybody's unanimous.
I don't, see, that's the thing. I don't care what everybody says. I'll follow like what Christy said though, because I know she's not going to lead me astray. So Christy's following with the odd in that case. It's in your favor. You will strike. I need everyone to give me will saves. Your damage goes through. Your effects go through.
Ooh, everybody, even me?
Yes. Especially you.
Especially, why especially me?
Well,
18.
you happen to be an arcane spellcaster.
Oh.
18.
Hey.
Oh, nice.
I'll take a
Eli
nat
just
20.
stands.
Eli's like, bring it.
Frame maintained.
Perfect. That's whew, that's huge. Okay, so your damage has gone through 3 piercing and then 13 slashing. That's really, really high. That is definitely going to hit him. You're going to do a substantial rip in his person. The 3 has it hits. You know that it hits. It's going to have some minimal effect, however, just due to raw numbers. In this point,
Damn it! I wish we had rested, man. Ugh.
Eli, you're the only person that's going to realize this. You're the only person that's going to gather this information. And I'll explain to you. Nobody's going to like it. Not a one. But that happens. Stories would be different if he didn't have his book. But he has his book.
Tripp.
Can we see the book too?
Oh yeah. It's
Okay.
he's holding
like,
it.
He's holding
Yeah.
He's holding it.
Hugging it.
You've
Shoot the book.
tore down your sword over the top of him, knowing that it's cut through. You connected with something that was more flesh than not. An arrow seems to plink into something meaty, but you're not certain whether it's him. It may have even gone through and connected with Eli. What you do know is that you've struck something. The arms below him flash in that purple glow and erupt like fire. Oz, Temerity, Rye, Torvin, and Peverin/Silwith. You're unconscious. Your thought is completely gone.
An 18?
More so than that. Eli. They're gone from the room. Only you stand here with him now. He turns back to you slowly.
I made a deal and intend to honor my promise. Your friends will not be harmed. They're not here anymore. I forefend and prevent the others from attacking until I left. You'll need rest. Rest this place cannot provide. I don't care for your petty squabbles, for your opinions. Somehow you managed to resist. Perhaps it's because we're a brethren of a sort, being cut and molded in the same forge fire. Only time will tell. What I do know, you and I will meet again. Hopefully it's on better terms. Choose your companions carefully. They will get you killed.
He turns. That slow shift. You have time to ask him anything if you'd like.
I think the Eli thing to do is to taunt him. So he's going to say, I'll patiently await the day that we do meet again. And believe me when I say I'll be much more powerful. and this will end differently.
Well, that'll make two of us then, won't it? Perhaps you shouldn't wait so patiently and find your way outside. I said I'd stop the ghosts from in here, not the ones out there in the courtyard.
He'll turn to leave to look for his friends.
Where'll you go?
He'll head out front.
Sure.
Well, he'll check the safe room first and grab Torvin's bag that he left there.
Sure.
And probably scoop up anything else if anybody left their belongings. And he will head out the front door of the prison and go look for his friends, because it sounded like they weren't in the prison anymore.
You pack all of the belongings that were left upon your person. You make your way out the front vestige, and you discover your allies spread with some distance between them across the lawn of the courtyard. Some of them face down, some face up. None of them seem to be harmed. All seem to be unconscious. You find yourself in an interesting predicament. This is the first time that they've had an absolute true rest. You're not sure for how long, though. None of them are responding to their names, none are responding to touches. And this is the first time you've been allowed to do anything without their native response. And there, not far from you, is Rye with that blade in his hand. Still clutches it in his unconscious state. And no more than 10 feet from him is Peverin, asleep, face down, and you can see the wisps and trail of Wraithen-like smoke emit from his person, as you recognize that Silwith, Tripp, rests inside.
So yeah, if they're unconscious, Eli will start to gather them up one at a time, two if he can carry both, and he will take them towards out past to where they left the one horse carriage.
Yeah,
because the other one was slain.
Okay.
After it trampled Oz, and I'll try to load them up in the carriage and then pull us back to town.
You got it. It takes a lot more work on the steed. It's not a far trip, but it's enough to exhaust the horse.
Yeah.
You're able to make it back to town after piling them in to the carriage itself, body on top of body, like you're bringing back a wagon full of corpses. They do not respond to anything. Where do you bring them to? I'm curious.
And we're gonna go back to the Lowermore residence with Kendra.
Okay.
Because that's, the only other place I could think of is the barn where we fought the mosquitoes.
You return to the Lowermore residence. You're not greeted by a welcoming party. The councilmen and women, the sheriff, even Kendra, are not immediately seen. You stop. You move up to the door and you knock. No immediate response. After probably 45 or so seconds, Kendra comes to the door. She seems to be in the midst of cleaning, as far as you can tell. She's wearing down-dressed clothes. Her hair is pulled back very, very tightly on top of her head. She's sweating fairly profusely, and she's got a rag in her hand. You see her, but your focus is similarly bleary. You realize just how tired you actually are. You don't remember what happens next. But the situation changes. Each of you will be granted a full night's rest. She does not wake you. She doesn't even attempt to. Some of the bodies, the marks on your bodies represent something of an incredibly difficult nature has occurred in a very short window of time. Oz is quite literally bruised in every place that skin is visible. Up the neck, across the face, there's blood going down the ears and through the nose. Temerity has blood streaking through her hair. It's hardened in several spots. There's visible wear and tear over Rye's body, more so than what he went in with. Tripp is mostly hamstrung, as far as you can tell. His operation of his arms is quite difficult so. And even though he's unconscious, Peverin's body still moans out in pain whenever his arms are moved. I'm going to let you guys decide who awakens first. It's not for me to decide. It's for each of you.
I will sleep forever.
Who's got the highest con?
I have a 12.
Probably.
I have 16.
I have a 12.
I don't have one as a ghost, so
I'm guessing that
I have 14.
It's likely Cobalt with Eli.
Yeah.
And that makes sense, right? Because I resisted I mean, besides the burning skeletons, I really didn't get messed up too bad.
Right.
And there, ironically, even though I tried my hardest. Yeah, the last thing that left his mind when they got there, when he saw her, was, are those beds still available, miss? And he must have just passed out.
Yeah.
Before he could even get the words out from having to ride the horse so hard. I mean, I'll wake up and look around. Where am I? Who's around me?
You awaken.
Everybody in beds, the maid quarters. Or...
You awaken in the maid quarters. There are beds filled. Not everybody is there, as far as you can tell. There were only 5 beds here. One of your comrades are at least seemingly missing. You see Oz, Torvin, Temerity, and Tripp. You don't see Rye.
Are there any windows? Can I tell what time it is? Maybe.
No, there are no
How
windows.
long it's passed.
You can see that the hearth has been burning for quite a while. There is a large amount of ash resting in the basin of the fireplace. Your best guess from previously seeing this? Several hours have passed.
I'll get up and see if my things are around, and probably strap back on my protective stuff because I'm really traumatized and paranoid.
Sure.
Make sure that I'm ready at a moment's notice, and then I'll start going from each bed and kind of looking everyone over from like a medical standpoint to see if there's anything that I can do or any way I can assist their recovery.
Give me a perception.
I'll roll it.
Okay.
Luck rerolls.
Sure.
That's better.
That is a lot better. You notice at every bedside, all of their belongings have been haphazardly tossed about on either side of the bed. Some of the belongings, if they are close enough together, they've been kind of mixed and matched in there. But everybody seems to be down to the skivvies, right? They're in their undergarments, if they had any at all. And it looks like their bodies are bound, wrapped, in spots that might visibly exhume injury, any place that may have seen harm in recent time. It is cared for quite delicately so. You note that the level of care is quite high, and you can see at the bedside there is what looks to be an end table of sorts, a chest of drawers. And inside of that, or on top of each of those, is a variety of unguents, various herbs. It looks like there is a bowl at each side, and there's like a rag in each of them that seems to have soaked either various amounts of dirt, debris, some of it is blood. It looks like someone has gone through quite a lot of work attempting to care for all of you.
All right. Could I attempt to rustle Torvin awake?
You can, yes. When you glance back, Torvin was nearest your side, in the maid's bed to the right, and you notice that your end table has what looks to be a salve. There's some sort of like almost opaque like salve in a very, very small jar, a glass jar.
Like burn ointment? or something?
To a degree, yeah. And you kind of furrow your brow for a moment, wondering where there might be a burn, and that's when you feel that like cracking at the corner of your eye. And moving your hand up, you sort of feel that this salve and ointment is around your eye. It's then that you start to smell it. Some sort of aloe base, something that has a brighter, cooler smell, a sense to it. But yes, you can jar Torvin if you'd like to.
Is there a mirror in the room? Somewhere?
There is what looks to be a small hand mirror at I want to say Temerity's bedside.
I'll go grab the mirror, and I want to take a look at my eye.
Sure.
And carefully remove the metal eye patch that I made.
The patch isn't there.
Take a look at it.
The patch itself has been removed.
All right, so then I will examine.
Sure.
My eye then in the mirror.
You take a look at the mirror itself to sort of see what has occurred, and there is a generous amount of the salve that seems to have been applied to the burns around your eye. It has not healed the wound as much, but it has calmed the skin, where before it was just like radiating this burned, almost heated look around your eye. Now it seems to have calmed down, but the swelling has also been brought down.
And it still looks basically the same. Besides that, it's still like grayed out from the shard in there and
yes,
whatnot.
Yes.
All right. I'll go back to my bed and just do a quick scan and see if I can find my eye patch.
Sure.
The missing eye patch.
Sure. It doesn't take you long. You realize that it was removed, placed on the bedside itself, next to some sort of like straw basin pillow. You wouldn't have seen it at first glance. It was on your blind side. But you can see it very clearly now.
Yeah, I got to put that on. Self-conscious
Sure.
about my weird rune eye. Yeah, then I'll go wake Torvin up, give him a shake if I may.
You place
or
this
attempt to.
back over your eye, stretch it, and bind it tightly, so re-extending the hempen cords before you lean over to touch Torvin to jar him awake. You hear, "Excuse me." When you turn, Jaminda stands in the door. She brings back a bowl in her hand, and there are multiple rags sitting inside of that basin bowl. "I see that you're awake now."
Well, at least I am. I think I probably got the easier end of the stick, so to speak. Was it you who cared for all of my comrades here?
Myself and Kendra, yes.
Well, thank you for having done us such a kindness. I wasn't sure if I would see either of you again for different reasons.
It's funny you say that. We were under the same assumption.
Makes sense. Is there anything I can do to help now that I'm awake?
I suppose you could eat. We prepared food, not knowing when you'd awake. But most of you have been down for half a day.
There'll be time for that. I need to make sure that they're all okay and they can. Well, I haven't seen any of them conscious yet, and so I'm just concerned, and I don't want to go eat before they're all up and covered.
If you'd like, I can stir them, but if the body demands that they rest, then they will return to sleep.
Well, of course, I just wanted to make sure that they were all coherent. If they wish to rest more, that's fine.
She draws what looks to be a series of herbs, and what you could best guess is like a cinnamon stick or the equivalent of it. Looks like that in texture, and she starts to ground it, mortar and pestle, before she paces some up over her fingers. She licks her fingers and grabs some of this powder, And then she moves up to each person. She asks which one first.
Well, let's see if we can get Torvin up.
She
He's
takes
probably hungry.
She takes her fingers.
Wake Torvin up and be like, Torvin, you ready to coup de grace these guys?
That's right. Which one made the cut?
And she seems to draw her index finger and thumb together where she had grabbed the substance. And as he inhales in his sleep, you visibly notice some of the residue, the powder off of her fingers, like hits his nose. And Torvin, you are awakened. It is a bit harsh, as it's almost, I don't want to say it's a piercing sensation as much as it's quite sharp in general. Leaves a horrible taste in your mouth, but it awakens you out of a cold, dead sleep. You can see fingers and a thumb just above your nose. When you start to stir, she pulls it back, and you recognize Jamenda, the apothecary.
We're back at the Loremore residence. It's okay.
Did we win?
Well, we didn't lose.
Oh.
Technically.
Where is it?
Jamenda moves to the next bedside. That would be Oz.
One moment, Jamenda. Not Oz next, please.
She nods and moves to Temerity.
Oz looks very banged up. Yeah, Temerity's. That's fine. You can wake Temerity up next.
She nods.
What happened? What is he? Wait.
So he was able to do some sort of teleportation that transported all of you and knocked you unconscious right out of the prison, and I was the only one there left, and then he made some sort of threat that he would see us later for certain and that our paths would cross, and I was unable to even harm him. He was immune to my healing powers, my holy fire against the undead. I don't understand it, but
You channeled, and it didn't work.
Oh, it worked. It just didn't seem to have any effect on whatever that was. I don't know if it was something with the spell book, or I don't know what went wrong.
And with the sharp inhale,
Whole
Temerity,
place went wrong.
Temerity, you awaken. It's quite a bitter stink that runs amidst your olfactory senses.
I got us all out of there, though. I brought us back as quickly as I could.
Thank you,
They
lad.
said there's food ready.
Jamenda nods.
I'm gonna need some teeth first.
Miss Loremore has prepared food. It might be a bit cold now, but I suppose it is better than nothing. Moving next to Tripp, since it seems that you've expected for Oz to either be awakened last or not at all.
Maybe we should let the boy sleep, Jerminda. He's been through a lot. I don't wish to cause him more pain.
Mr. Rye rests in the study. There were a shortage of beds, and he seemed to favor the study as is. Miss Loremore is tending to his wounds now.
All right.
Roll off the bed.
If the boy is tired, his arms look like they could use quite a bit more healing. I would hate to have him suffer when he can rest.
I would say so. They seemed to be malformed. They do not retain the shape of your arms or mine.
I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of healing potion or something we have that could help mend them or at least heal them.
Professor Loremore had some books on, I wouldn't quite say abilities, techniques of control of the body. Anatomy novels, things that I was not given much study to. My study was in things of this nature, horticulture and herbology, things of this. Professor Loremore seemed to have quite a bit more of the studying and the understanding of the anatomy. If, with a little work, I might be able to do more, but I'm not nearly talented enough. With some help, though, I might be able to mend him.
Of course, I'll do anything I can to aid you.
Very well. Then the three of you should see to the food. We would hate for it to spoil any further.
Thank you, lass.
All right, be careful with that one. He looks very bruised all over. It's awful.
You're talking about Rye?
I was talking about Oz Rise in the study.
Okay.
You can see the bit where the horse hit him.
That's quite a deep impression, even on the soft, flabby body.
Even on a go. I mean, really.
How did it dent it like that? I don't understand. Oh, whatever.
Not a lot of muscle mass there. That's where they keep the acid, the spit.
Oh, right.
Okay.
The turn of the
wondering
powder
about that.
in front of the nose. Oz, you will awaken, probably a little groggy. The flavor that seems to ruminate within your olfactory senses isn't entirely horrible. You've certainly eaten worse.
All right. So they're waking me up.
Yeah.
I think I was kind of like shakes awake and he's like, Pecker, I'm not ready yet.
Come
And
on,
he kinda-
Oz, there's food, as they are leaving the room.
He like sniffs his nose in the air. What do I smell food-wise?
You can tell that some food has been made in the past. You know that some meats have been cooked. You're not sure how long it has been, but your best guess is within the last few hours.
Is Pecker around me?
Pecker's near, yeah. But
Like cuddled up on bed?
Yeah, you realize that movement is rather difficult. There is quite a large amount of swelling on your chest and in the neck region where you had been kicked by that horse. Not something that was done superficially so. You can tell that there is quite a drastic hematoma, so a real ugly bruise. It's like roughly the size of a full dinner plate.
Okay. Oz like slowly gets out of the bed and is like, I feel like I just got kicked by like 10 horses. What was... how did I get here? Just like looking around.
A stillness in the air. You notice that Pepperin remains asleep. And Rye is not in the room whatsoever. Everybody seems to gather their things.
Oz will check on Pepperin then if everyone's kind of like leaving the room.
Sure. His arms appear to be stented. You can't tell the use of these stents immediately because you don't think the bones are broken. He's still able to use his arms. But they look bizarrely. Like if you could be explain this by any way, if you were to hold his arm up normally so, and where the muscle would sort of like run across the forearm, and on the other underside of the arm, it's like flat, and then there is a lump in the arm where the muscle seems to have curled under his skin.
Gross. Is Eli and Eli and Torvin and Temerity just leaving the room?
I don't know.
Because Oz asked, like, how did I get here? But no one's responding.
We were walking towards the food.
Yeah.
I think. Like, yeah.
Oh,
I don't know what Temerity was doing, actually.
We just lost Ello.
Yeah.
Well, give us just a second, guys. We'll get Ello back. I was actually about to pull the camera over specifically to him there. So. Well, interestingly enough, most of you guys are in the right spot.
I guess if all of them leave, Oz will gently try to wake Pepperin up with like if there's like a cloth and water or something.
Sure.
Like slowly pat his arm.
Is this like the me? I don't get a slot here.
This was the in case somebody was missing screen.
Oh, okay.
And you were Ryan, yours are the ones that I can toggle off. They're in the same exact
Gotcha.
spot.
Well, it's actually, I'm gonna message you so this is when he comes back.
Okay.
I slurp food slowly,
Sure.
Doesn't
feeling the
Tucker
inside of my
wake
mouth.
up?
Okay. All right. So you managed to make it into this kitchen area where you've staged breakfast prior, and you're met with some of the lingering, comforting smells of the food that has been here. There is as much energy, positively so, in this kitchen as there would have been anywhere else in the home, and it's the one place that there hasn't been hostility, negativity, harm driven. Still, you rest. You find the food here is quite welcoming and copious at that much. Remembering specifically that Oz has quite an appetite, the food is in vast amount. You're more than welcome to have as much as you'd like. You do notice that there is an enormous bowl of peaches on the table.
You're welcome.
Oz, you will successfully awaken Tripp at this point. It's up to you what you want to do here, or if you wish to just kind of allow him to get up on his own.
Oh, sorry, I'm muted. Oz is just gently trying to wake him up. So if he needs assistance, Oz will provide it. But...
Okay. Tripp, you're in pain. There's no doubt about that. The pain is what I would say is quite overwhelming.
I mean, I don't know if it would be like a suppressed feeling or not, but if I'm feeling that like much discomfort already, then I mean, it's just gonna try to be, I guess it would just be doing my best to make sure that, Pevrin's not, in any more pain than he needs to be.
Sure.
Getting up though, I would check to see if they had bound me at all.
No, it doesn't look that they bound you. That is not the situation. As far as you are aware, you're tucked into a bed. You're in a comfortable place, at least as far as comforts can be spoken to. Your body does hurt. Pevrin does have that necessary yearn for care, if it can be provided.
Yeah.
This is as close as it's going to get, though, as far as you can tell.
What happened to your arm?
Well, unfortunately, it looks like being stuck under the well caused a lot of damage to Pevrin. It'll take some time before this is back to how it was. Quite a bit of physical therapy on it.
I don't think he should come with us.
I can agree. Given his condition, I don't know how well it would be for him to keep traveling, but I'm not sure what else to do. I don't know what we're going to do with the boy. Well, I guess what you're going to do with the boy. And he kind of just like generalizes like the open air, kind of referring to the group.
Since no one's in the room, Oz just kind of looks around and he's like, I don't know what they're planning to do, but I'm in no position to take care of anyone.
Well, given the situation, unfortunately, it doesn't look like I'm going to be staying around too much longer to begin with. It seems that 2 of 6 of us don't seem to be too keen on having me around right now.
Why'd you do it? Was it worth it? Getting your name?
Given in hindsight, I would do it again. I'm me again. Still with Ashworth.
He mutters his name, and there's for the first time, a a very natural smile. To say that he's giddy would be an overstatement, but it's something close to that.
Well, you have your name now. Why haven't you ghosted away or something?
I still haven't finished business.
What kind of business? I thought this was the business, figuring out your name.
I thought so too. But then I realized getting my name back, memories came back to me.
What kind of
I was-
memories?
In short, I was betrayed. My father was the reason I am here in Harrowstone now.
Well, you kind of knew that you were betrayed already. Just, I guess, not by who.
And now that I do have a purpose.
You're not going to go trying to kill your father, are you?
What? No, that's no.
Okay.
Patricide is-
Sometimes I
no.
hear there's ghosts that come back and they're just here for revenge and they like haunt their family members.
No, that is awful. Where have you heard stories like that? No,
Oh, there's a lot of
he
them.
He looks at Oz's hand, and just like smacks. He's all, no, stop. No, I'm going to have him serve his sentence. I'm going to find him, track him down, and he will serve time in Harrowstone.
I don't know if you were in the same place as me, but I don't think Harrowstone is going to be useful anymore as a prison.
If we can salvage it, we can have it rebuilt. If not there, then somewhere. But he will serve
I don't want to
justice.
salvage that place. I don't think anybody should. I think we should quarantine that area off and let it all on fire.
Again.
Yeah, I've been through that once, and
Again.
he kind of gestures to himself like this is the results of that.
Well, there's got to be some kind of like cleansing or something. Maybe something Temerity and Eli can do.
Potentially, but I mean, I don't have any way to do any of that, and if they have the means to do it, it's the funds that might be the issue.
Oz leans in and he's like, between you and me, I don't know if it's really a thing.
What, you mean faith?
Yeah. I mean, if Eli and Temerity have all this, faith, where the heck are their gods? We about died in that place. There's all kind of evil things in there. What they doing? They're just letting them all keep going on and doing their thing? If I was a god, I'd be smiting them. That's what they call it, right?
I honestly wouldn't know where to begin on that subject. I read about it a bit in some books. I think, yes, I read about it in some books. I usually just like tinkering with puzzles, not necessarily the world above and below. At least when I was alive.
Puzzles too.
Oh, well, it seems that we have a common interest then.
Wonder
And
if
making
Kendra has
shady
any
deals.
puzzles.
Potentially, but
Well, there's food in the kitchen, and we should go find Rye. I didn't see him with a lot of them.
Will do. Give me a moment, though. I'll join you in a bit. Pevrin is still quite in pain, and I want to take this in for a bit on my own, knowing that I'm me again. But I think I might have to join you in, not Pevrin, if I'm to continue helping, at least in any capacity.
I think that's probably for the best. Maybe you should do that now. Let the boy rest.
I will, but also afraid that if I leave him, then he can still be invaded. He doesn't have his ward on him. And he starts looking around.
Well, maybe there's something I can do about that.
It would have to be permanent. And I don't even know what kind of seals these are. I don't know the language or anything.
Well, you know who might know? Maybe we go visit Groven.
We could. That is true.
Or the sheriff. And
I
find
can-
out why there's a million dead copies of him.
I can do
that's
some
right.
protection if he's got a spell to permanency it.
I mean, I don't see what the problem could be, but... And then you see him, like, stop. There's someone that we have to talk to as well.
Ooh.
The sheriff. He seems
You
remarkably
really
spry.
think that's actually the sheriff? Because I don't.
I don't know, honestly, but 50 years ago, he was a guard, and now he's a sheriff. And he still looks exactly the same. And I mean exactly the same. It's rather mind-boggling, actually. But then again, so is me
wait.
being...
Are you remembering something? Is this from your... He, like, does some weird, like, voodoo motions.
Oh, yes. Sorry, it's... I don't know how to explain this, but... I'm Silwith again. The one that you've been referring to as Tripp feels almost like a fever dream. So if you
Wait,
don't
are you
mind...
saying that you're not Tripp? You're a different... It's a different ghost inside of Pevrin? Get out of it.
No,
Go on.
no. Settle down, Oz. Still me. It's just... I feel like I'm just meeting you for the first time again, if that makes sense.
But you remember me.
I remember, yes, up until... Well, I remember some of my time, most of it. It's like I've awoken from a bad dream, but I'm still living parts of it. Like that grogginess in the morning when you wake up.
Oh, I know that one well.
Yeah, it's like that, but it's constant. I know what parts are real and everything is still there, but it's... I feel like the time's catching up to me, town.
Well, anything I can do to help?
I guess convince Torvin and Eli not to kill me.
That's gonna be a hard one, but I can try.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to put in a lot of effort to convince them to not do so.
Camera pans. It turns at this point before you're able to say anything else. Torvin, Eli, and Temerity. The three of you are sitting in this kitchen. You are taking in the fresh chunks of bread that seem to have been made. It's not been sliced, so you're just kind of tearing it away. The bits of rasherback bacon, anything else that you can seem to grab onto, the peaches, other various fruits, maybe some cheese that might also be laying here. It's delicious. It is a reprieve. A reprieve before things get really ugly again. Temerity is just withdrawn, just sort of going through the motions of chewing, right? Not much for conversation. For the sake of those that are watching at home, Temerity, aka Misty, is stepping away. This past weekend has taken quite a lot out of her. So she's messaged our group and let us know that she's got to step down. But that basically I have carte blanche, so to speak, and I'm going to be trying to run Temerity through what seems to be natural in a recovery state. So, Torvin, Eli, you still yet to see Rye. You've also not seen Miss Lorimore.
I want to ask Torvin. So, what do you suppose we do with the boy right before we passed out? It seemed that Silwith had gone back into Pevrin.
Oh, Tripp. Yes.
I don't know what to do. I think if he's not in the body, his body is open for being inhabited by all sorts of terrible spirits, and on the other hand, I don't trust him at all. He betrayed us. He's the reason why we're here right now.
Aye.
Because that thing got out.
Yeah, aye.
You're telling me that that was the right choice to get his name back, to set that thing loose? You saw how much power it had.
I don't know what else I can say. He enabled a monster. I put monsters away. I don't know how else I can put it.
So then do we try to lock him in a cell? Because the child's not safe with or without him.
I think the child can stay here and be as safe as he can be, and definitely more safe than going back to the prison.
I don't think there's anything stopping Tripp from just running off.
That's
now
the
that
point.
He's got what he's want.
He can do what he wants. He did do whatever he wanted.
Well, I can't just let him run off with the boy. That boy is special, but he at least deserves to live some sort of normal life.
I hate to say it, but I think he'd be better with clergy. I don't say that lightly. But he needs to be protected by those that can protect him.
I agree. I don't think Tripp would ever go for that, and I'm afraid.
I don't care. He's got his name. Happy Huzzah. Push some fireworks up. Now what? He's a ghost that died, a man that died a long time ago. What new? We put out another setting at a table?
So then we could leave him here and when we go to Harrowstone, deal with him when we get back?
I know that he is less of a risk than everything else over there. And I know we have to deal still with everything else that's over there. I don't know. I just know that, look, we have to finish this, and no offense, but I've got an army waiting in certain points that are meant to be doing very bad things to giants, and I'm meant to be there.
Eli, can I get a sense motive from you, please? Okay, a 15. You don't know how truthful that is that he has an army waiting somewhere, based upon the information that has been given to you, courtesy of Jorfa. Torvin is still a defector from his cause, and his entire purpose in being. Maybe he does, right? Maybe he does. But if he was that important, why wouldn't he be on the front lines? That's what Torog would ask. Why would he be here, mourning the loss of someone he came across once? Torvin, I would like a sense motive from you, and I would like a knowledge religion.
And knowledge religion.
Wow. Okay. I wasn't going to give it to you unless you rolled like this high. This was going to be quite a bit harder to get. I knowing that you really don't even have that much of an investment in religion. So, you kind of find you find Eli's story sort of convenient. You feel like he's telling the truth mostly. You feel as if he is invested in this, and he has a vested interest in clearing out Harrowstone. You also know the validity and the value of keeping Tripp alive just long enough so that Harrowstone is purged, because any other spirit there is probably going to be a problem. Who knows how valuable Tripp is going to be, right? But you can't seem to shake the fact that a spirit looked Eli in the face and called him closer cut than another. That they were both burned of the Ashen Forge. Now, the Ashen Forge doesn't get mentioned a lot. It doesn't. It really does not. Very, very few places. And you know that there is a biblical sense, particularly to the tellings, the edicts, and the tenets, specifically to Torog, that to be determined and called that of the Ashen Forge is a crime and a sin against Torog. That it ties to another dwarven god, but you can't recall which. There's just so many of them. And you can recall specifically when the pendant, the medallion attached to the charms, struck your eye. It said he lies. You can't shake that. Of all the things you've seen, of all the things you've experienced, the charm turned up as Torog, and it said he lies. Now another calls him that of the Ashen Forge. And you saw him pray to Torog. And what arose from that candle? A black flame. Now, this is something that's been on your mind for a while. You may not know so much, right? You may not be so closely tied to the tenets, the edicts, and all of that of Dad, right? You kind of know, you know what makes sense. But if there is one thing that you know 1,000,000% without fault, Torog has never called upon a human to answer anything. There has never been a human paladin of Torog in the history of dwarfkind.
Okay. Okay.
That silence is shattered. It is broken. Oz beats feet into the room. Food. Oz. Food. And a copious amount of it. They're just
Oz,
parsing bits here and there.
Pulls like a little chair over for, and picks Pecker up and puts him up so he can sit. Gets him some food, and Oz just puts like so much food on his plate that's like piled high, and then he just starts scarfing it in his mouth.
Silith would be shortly behind.
And do I sense that maybe there's some tension in the room at all?
Completely so. You catch the stares. The tension seems to drop when they realize that it's you, but it seems to rise again when Silith enters the room. When the boy moves in, nursing that arm that seems to have very obvious injury. Their shoulders draw up again, particularly Eli's. Temerity is just sort of having that thousand mile stare, right? Like just peering into the bowl of fruit. Rye's still not in this room.
I wonder if we're safe here for now. I don't know where he is.
I don't want to wonder. I just want to enjoy this meal. That's all right with you all?
It's okay with me. Good morning, Pecker. And he pats Pecker on the head. And looks over to Eli and Torvin.
Yeah.
Oh, and we have the betrayed sitting with us today, too. Good morning, gentlemen.
What?
You've taken so, keen
No.
to call me
You want
a
to make
betrayer.
this worse. I stand up and then I'll walk outside.
To be fair, he's right. Why'd you go and say that? You could have just hushed and ate.
Torvin, it moves to a silence as you exit the room. You storm down the hall. You have very little on your person. Most of your belongings were left in the room. You did manage to take your pipe. You said that you wanted just that. So you take your pipe. You take some of the stash that still remains. You exit and you're met by the night air. It kisses your skin. It's one of the few most earnest and honest things that come as a grace from Galarian. The air doesn't whisper on the wind in ways that twists and befuddle you. It's just that. The night sky doesn't care for how you feel. It simply exists longer than you will, longer than anyone else will.
Breathe in the cold.
It welcomes you.
I grab some bread, and as I start breaking it apart, I just look over to Oz. Why did I say it? Because I can actually be angry without going into some blind rage, some ghost rage where my hands shoot out of my body.
Well, maybe keep your rage inside your little body for now, because...
And I can. Look. And he, puts his hands on Oz's face. He's all, see, look. Nothing's happening.
Stop.
See?
Careful with the child's arms.
I am, Eli. And I'm glad that you're well. Even if you are being a dick.
I dragged all of you back here myself, and you insult me?
You made a bad situation far worse by attacking.
You're the reason that it got out in the first place.
Yes, you are absolutely right, Eli. And I am willing to own up to that. But you were the one who struck him.
Temerity's still not shaking that glance.
Very little stopping me from trying to eject you from that body again.
Kendra Lorimar breaks that tension as she strides into the room. She throws down a very bloodied rag. Well, I suppose it would probably be me. So stop it. Bring your voices down. If you'd spend a little more time wondering just about your own health as opposed to who's got the biggest ego in the room that has to be fed consistently, you'd realize that, well, most of you are dying. Speaking of which, I'm going to tend to the wounded. Rye has a skin infection. The burn's never properly healed. If it is not treated, he will die.
Zolot stands up. Is there anything we can do to help? I didn't realize it was that bad.
You can stay out of my way. And keep your voices down.
Very well. I
Oz
apologize.
Oz nods and gives with a glare, because he's like, bro, I had your back and now you're assassin.
The door is still wide open to the front of the house, so, Torvin, you can hear that. You hear the demanding presence of Kendra, and you realize where she gets it from. The few brief moments that each of you had with Petros, he had a way of charm and charisma, but when he was shaken, his voice was loud. It was commanding. The apple didn't fall too far from the tree. She returns back with fresh linen. Temerity says she's going to rest. She grabs a handful of cheese and bread, and she makes her way back to the bed.
Eli, rather than argue, is going to just sit in silence. But then I did want to ask, now that I've heard what the scary ghost said to me, is there any way, there's a lot of literature around, is there any way I can like look for a book that might give me more information about it?
Of course, depending on what it is that you're after, while you're in Petros' study, you guys are actually given a bonus to researching the materials that you're after. So what does he do like to research?
The Ashen Forge.
Sure.
For sure.
So then knowledge, religion, you're going to get a +4 while studying. It's going to take an hour to get that +4 if you'd like to.
Yeah, instead of fighting, he would rather just be quiet and not escalate while everybody's trying to rest.
Sure.
And just go.
The DC is difficult. Bear in mind that this predates most human knowledge and falls to dwarven text.
25.
Oh, fuck you. Even or odd? That's an even or odd. I set the DC at 25.
Magic.
Hit him with the even.
I have a +6 to religion, so I mean, and it's checked.
Yeah.
I guess even.
Oh God.
Ooh,
Damn
20.
it. Damn it. Okay, yeah. Well done.
That's a 20.
Well done. So what do you research exactly? Is there a set of terms or terminology?
I mean, I'm looking for anything with the Ashen Forge. You can use, Torag as a starting point, and then if I'm not finding anything from that,
Sure.
I would move on to more Dwarven history or anything religious about, Dwarven society and culture.
So I will give you this. So there are levels to this basis of knowledge. 25 is to net the thinnest veil. Basically, you learn just enough about it to make you want to pursue more. If you would have broke 30, a 30 would have brought you even more information. A 35 would have brought you everything, at least everything that humankind
I can't even
knows.
roll that high.
Correct.
I can roll a 30 if I crit. So
You start rereading
+4.
the details specifically about Torag at first, hoping that you can find anything in regards to the Ashen Forge. And you were given a lot of things about the quest for the sky, about Darklands, about Earthfall. The things that are widely spoke of by dwarves, right? It's the creation story. The father of creation is Torag. Well, Torag is a forge master, and he is particularly seen as just that, the master of the forge, the father of the forge, the father of creation. And you do actually catch something called the Ashen Forge. The Ashen Forge is seen as a realm. It is a realm where very few, I'm talking very few, very small amount of his disciples that fell from grace were cast to. Dwarven gods that were sent to the Ashen Forge for falling out of his grace. You catch a handful of names. None of them really kind of stick out to you.
Not even Hin.
Not even what? Say that again, please.
What's that guy's name? Hin.
Heen? Heen Fairman?
Heen. Yeah, Heen Fairman.
No, you don't catch anything of that sort. Nothing in regards to Heen Fairman. But what you do capture is that, and it sticks out particularly to you, right? Particularly to you. The images that it paints in regards to the Ashen Forge, there is a series of things, a series of various weapons and instruments that dictate those that follow under that helm, right? Under whatever this might mean, this Ashen Forge. When you start reading about, or when you start seeing some of these what they call artifacts, right? Particularly, there's an artifact that is equipped to a chain. You see a figure that looks something akin to a dwarf, at least in design. It's very short and stout. It looks like that of a tree stump, but it has smoke barreling over its chest and head. Its body seems to be made of iron, wrought iron. A hammer, a forge hammer in one hand, and in the other, a hook. A hook designed to grapple. Draw an enemy closer, pulling them into the fray and into the fight. And it sticks out to you. It resonates. It's like you found Waldo. The right Waldo in a sea of Waldos. This just reaches out to you. And that is all of the information that you get in regards to the Ashen Forge.
During his time of study, I wanted to take some cheese and bread and head outside.
Torvin, how long will you be outside? I'm curious. You just kind of...
I just needed a moment to clear my head after that,
Sure.
so I'm probably about 20 minutes.
Okay. That night air is met by another individual stepping outside. Lighter feet. Your guess is it's either Temerity, Jaminda, could be Tripp, could be anyone in the house at this point. Nobody seems to be donning armor with an exception to Eli.
It probably does not sound like me, though.
Probably would hear that. I roll my eyes towards the ground, look at feet.
You recognize that it's the feet of a young man. At least the shape there, and of not taken much in the way of like the grotesque adjacent change of a boy to a man. It's a child. You immediately know that it's Tripp.
I put my eyes back down again to my feet.
It was bad taste to open up morning breakfast with such dialogue.
Will you fix the problem you made with as much vigor as you needed to know a name?
Truthfully, I don't know.
Well, there's your first problem. You think this is about my feelings. This is about what's now real.
Give me a knowledge.
You'll be go happy if you like with your feelings, but I've got to deal with this.
Can I get a wisdom from you, Torvin? Yo, what is the deal? Stop it. You're cheating. Oh my God. Okay. Torvin.
You don't need your rerolls, chat.
Torvin.
We don't need them.
2 nat 20s in a row.
Yeah, back to back. Torvin.
And then Eli did one. This is crazy.
Life is relatively short-sighted for most. That's the thing about those that are not dwarves. Even those that aren't even elves. You know that in life he was a half-elf based on what you've seen thus far. But what you know is that he led a very short life in regards to most, and that is the downfall of humankind as you know it. They act with nothing else in mind than their immediate need. They don't think about the consequences, the events that follow as such. And you realize that it's not just the body of a child that you are speaking to. It's honestly the mind of a child. It dawns on you that Tripp doesn't really understand the consequences of his actions. It's probably safe to assume that nobody's even really explained it. Because in his mind, he had everything to gain and nothing to lose.
Look, I tried, man.
Eli laid out the consequences in the form of threats of death. Just saying, that's a pretty big motivator.
Last I checked, kids don't respond well to being threatened with their life.
Well, this kid's been around for 50 years, so...
Dead for 50 years, but yes.
Yeah.
He puts the plate down like on a, I'm assuming like there's like stumps or something, you know, like to kind of put a tray down on, maybe fence or something. But he puts it down and he takes a piece of bread and again he kind of starts munching on it with his the good hand that he has. And it's weird because like the mannerisms of, I would say, Tripp are gone. Like he's not sheepish anymore. It's more someone who's consistently pondering, and he starts his this unusual pacing around you. The question of itself isn't so much whether or not I've thought about the consequences of what would happen. Given what I was previously, and I know I say that in a very short span of time of what happened, it's like I told Oz, the one you refer to as Tripp and me as Silwith, while we are the same, are two very different mindsets. Me personally, if now, given the situation, no, I wouldn't do that. I would gladly give my life to save any of you, given that you've done so much for me in a very short span of time of knowing me.
This isn't about you. This is about this.
I'm aware of that, Torvin. Believe me, I am.
Ben, stop there, please. Because I've got to fix this.
What the way of saying this that it's not going to sound callous, but he's going to have to be put on hold. There are other things we do need to attend to, and there are other things that I need to attend to that have nothing to do with Heen Ferriman. I still have my own agenda, and now that I know what that is, I intend to see that through.
So it sounds like you're just toddling off now.
No.
Okay, I'm going back. Not right away. I've got to go back to that place. You know where you came from. And I got to go fix that.
As do I, Torvin. You make it seem as though if I'm going to just up and vanish with the boy, or even me and myself, I'm going to leave.
What? You know, just let's say everybody here is always talking about what they think and what they feel and what's going. No one's doing anything. There is no advancement. This tune. Look, in 3 months, it'll just explode because we're close to it. We've got these things invading these poor people, and I hear all this conversation, wind, about themselves. I'd like to help them first. I'd like to fix that problem first. I just want to do that.
And we will, Torvin. I'm trying to tell you that I am going to help you with that.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to tell you we're here recovering only because you helped with that. You helped it escape.
But I'm not the one who provoked it, Torvin.
Oh!
And I won't take the blame.
That's about you again. Look, it's out. We have to fix it.
Yes, and we will. But we can't fix it now. We have to finish what is over there, and he points towards Harrowstone.
Realizing, Torvin,
yes.
that you're both saying the exact same thing, back and forth, back and forth. You're basically just saying the exact same thing in different words, back at each other. It's sort of a broken cycle. You sense it. This isn't the first person that this has happened with. Maybe it's just a communication error on the fact that you're a dwarf and your accent is heavy, or maybe he is just that. He's hung up on himself. Perhaps he's never been really a problem before, and he's reveling in the fact as such. Maybe it's not.
Torvin stands up. I need some more tobacco.
You're gonna
I'll
want
walk
this. So
inside.
he picks up the pipe and he hands it to him.
Thank you. And I'll walk inside.
Didn't go as planned. Admittedly, it was a strange olive branch. But that's not mended. You can tell that Torvin is not a man of words, he's a man of action. He hungers for proof in the pudding. It's not what he felt like he got here.
That for the back. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, Silith will enjoy the night air a little bit longer, and he'll take that time to change out some of the bandages, or at least get help after Rye gets treated for his wounds.
You enjoy that night air while it lingers, while it hangs, before you can go back inside and either find yourself in the middle of an argument or in a conversation. You remember that everyone here is, while physically they're exhausted, mentally they are almost twice that. Because they're basically jumping down each other's throats consistently. You realize that there is value in staying here and just sort of cooling off. And after that exchange, you know that Torvin hungers for that, which is why he came out here to begin with. So as you sit and take that in, finding the necessity in breath, finding the importance and newfound glory in residing in someone else's body, you have that astute moment where you realize that this is not going to be enough. You don't want to be in Peverin's body. You'll do it for the time being, just to keep him safe. But you know that it's not going to last forever. And as you have these moments where you're reflecting, introspection, seeing what you could have done differently, that lack of regret for doing what you've done, for finding purpose again in living, a figure moves probably 30 or 40 feet away from you, down the dirt road, passes by your carriage. It's in a slow and steady walk. It catches your attention. Do you move back inside? Do you focus in on him or her? What do you do?
I'll go check it out. I mean, if I'm letting everyone cool off, I wouldn't see any reason why I would, cause alarm. But I mean, does it look like they're in trouble? Does it look?
They're moving, steady pace. Nobody seems to be caring for you. You don't see anything that would make you think that there was an event occurring.
Yeah, but no, I would just continue to observe. I mean, if they're not doing anything like, hostile, or if nothing's, going crazy, then yeah, I would continue to observe.
As you watch,
they make eye contact, the general wave,
The moonlight shining down just over that peach tree. As they pass the peach tree, light briefly catches them and casts a silhouette of a man. Adult male, human as far as you can tell. They're wearing a long, darkened duster, and they have a hat that matches that of Benjamin Kaler. Nobody else in town wears that hat. He seems to be walking away from town in the direction of the Restlands.
Oh shit. Okay. Then I would not like sprint like Naruto run, at him, but I would kind of sit up and go, Sheriff, and then a brisk stride to try to meet up with them, realizing that it might be him.
Do you run up immediately to him, or do you pause? Like, how does this look as you get closer? Are you trying to maybe see if he's speaking with someone, or what? Give me the lowdown here. What do you try?
I mean, if I see another person, then I'll go and be a little sneaky snake, But if
you don't see another person,
that he's okay, then yeah, I would want to meet up with them.
Okay. You move closer and closer to him, moving into what looks to be a remnant of a jog, when you hear the sound of speaking. You don't see anybody, but you hear something. Give me a perception.
I will re-roll that.
Okay.
20.
Ooh, 17.
It's not horrible. You can't seem to make a lot of it out. Seems to be having a full-on conversation, but what you can make out as you near closer is, I'm coming, brother. I'm on my way. I'm coming. Do you move closer?
Yeah, but I'll stealth on this one.
Sure, give me a stealth.
What's my little sneaky boy stat? There we go. There we go.
That's really, really good. You sneak off to the side just in such a way. Give me a new perception now that you've changed location. That's a lot better. A lot better. Goodness gracious, giving you rogue stats is horrible. For me, mostly. You move up in such a way that you are capable, with your youthful body, you're able to maintain pace with his brisk walk. You lean to the shadows. You get just to the side. And it looks as if the pigmentation of his eyes has dropped to this opaqueness, think like an alligator's eyes at birth. The moment they hatch. You hear him. I'm coming, brother. Yeah, I know. Uh-huh. It's okay. First weeks are always rough. Yeah, I know. I don't like the way she looks at me. She seems weary of me. Should I worry about her? I always heard bad things about Dwergar. Yeah, I know. I'm coming, brother. And then he repeats that loop multiple times.
If he's caught in that loop, then I'm gonna sneaky snake back my way to the mansion.
To the Lorma residence?
Hell yeah, I ain't touching that shit.
Okay. Give me a new stealth.
Oh, dude, why do I keep stealthing, man? It's stupid. 18.
Okay. Now I gotta give him a chance here.
Can I re-roll mine? Got one more.
Sure, go ahead.
Don't fuck up. Nope, not good enough. Fuck.
In any other normal circumstance, you would have gone unnoticed. You feel confident. You stepped back in those few steps that you had as you moved forward. But you kick something. You hear a stick snap. That loop breaks, and he turns and looks around. The eyes squint before he says, Tripp? Tripp, what are you doing? You need to get back into your cell. My brother, he wouldn't like that. Get back into your cell. And he starts charging after you.
Oh, fuck. No, dude, I'm running.
And that's where the session ends.
Oh my god.
Oh, shit, man.
Tripp always causing trouble at the end of episodes. He saw him as Tripp. I know, right?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like some people are happy with the session and then some people are confused and maybe unhappy? I'm not looking at Cobalt at all, I promise. He looks so confused.
George is happy.
Just freaking out.
Look at that little kitty. Little muffin belly.
I'm just in shock. It's
Yeah,
like
likewise.
reading a novel or something. You know, with all the twists.
Oh my goodness.
It's nice to tap into my character's personality, like
You're fucking
a little
dead.
more.
Oh,
you don't
man.
bother me while I'm doing my research.
Perfect.
You go talk to Torvin.
Well, let's go ahead and net our shout-outs here. So I'm going to start with Cobalt Boss. Tell us about you. What are you doing? Where can we find you?
Oh, I'm CobaltStreak. I'm playing Isaac and Elden Ring, just like 90% of everybody else right now. And I play D&D on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. on Tuesdays right here, and on Thursdays, roll for it at noon. And yeah, just playing whatever looks fun. I'm doing I have a record going in Isaac, so I'm gonna try to keep that going. And yeah, I had a lot of fun.
What is your record right now?
I think I'm like 81. Random character runs, no reset, no deaths. So
that's
trying for that 100. Trying to set, personal bests every time.
That's impressive. I've not been able to do more than 3. As soon as I hit 3, it's like instant 12 deaths in a row. So impressive. Miss Misty isn't here, but you guys can always follow Misty over at twitch.tv/Imperial and on Twitter as Imperial Girl if you would like to find her. She does a lot of group gaming. I know that she's been dipping into oh my god, what is that sim, the farming sim?
Stardew Valley?
Stardew Valley, thank you. Yeah, Stardew. She's been hard jumping into Stardew. She also does seamstress work, and she sews, crochets, knits. She's honestly far more talented than I think most people have a right to be. So check her out over there on Imperial. Do just that. Next, we've got Wyld. Tell us about your boss. What are you doing? Where can we find you?
I'm online pretty much everywhere as Wyld. Haven't been streaming a lot of late because I've been working on my scenes, but I'm pretty much done. So there'll be some Minecraft coming up, probably some hardcore and some modded. But also, I'm thinking seriously about spending some afternoons chilling out and doing some No Man's Sky because there is so much content in there. And the last time I played it was the first time it came out. So it's a bit of a jump.
The game has changed. Oh, man.
I did reach the center of the game on the first time, and that was, I have to say, it was a remarkable experience. Incredibly zen-like. But this one is the same thing, but there is every distraction in the universe. So, yeah, it's a bit of fun.
Perfect. Guys, check out Wyld and watch him get weird. Ms. Maggie, what are you doing? Where can we find you?
Hello, I'm MargaretKrohn. You can find me at MargaretKrohn in all the places. I do things, and I will let you know if you follow me there. I also make video games for a living. If you want to check out the game that I'm currently working on, it is called Ashes of Creation. You can find it at Ashes of Creation in all the places. That's it.
Dope.
Sub to bub.
Thank you.
Sub to the bub.
You guys can always check out Ello over at twitch.tv/Ellohime. He's on Twitter as Ellohime Twitch. More often than not on Twitter, he memes frequently. Challenges people to discussion, and he's just fun. He's fun to watch. Go check him out. He is currently playing Elden Ring with a Berserk build, and informing people about bizarre effects in nature like ball lightning. And I'm not talking about the magic card. I'm talking about actual events of ball lightning. So always check him out over there at twitch.tv/Ellohime. That leads us next to Xander. You're a boss. Tell us about you. What are you doing? Where can we find you?
Hi everyone, I'm XanderDarks. I got a new mic so I don't sound like shit anymore. But yeah, I stream here on Tuesdays with everyone that you see in call right now. And early in the morning, I was playing a lot of stuff. I tried playing Terra today, and then I immediately gave up on it because I realized I didn't want to play it. But yeah, I do that. Role play, weird shit all the time. I mean, it's what I do. You guys can find me usually on Instagram and Twitter. If you guys ever want to just chat or anything, just hit me up and I'll usually respond.
Perfect. That leaves me. You guys already know what I do. I tell stories, I play video games, I make voices loud, all that jazz. If you're already here, make sure you hit the follow button. If you have not subbed yet and you wish to support, keep the stream alive, keep the dream alive, do just that. Unfortunately, we lost Miss Temerity, Imperial, to exhaustion out of game. Misty ran some insane amount. She's the kind of crazy person that likes to run without being chased by things. I don't understand it, honestly, but she does that. And Ello appears to have had a transformer blow in his neighborhood. So he is without power. So hopefully he comes back soon, I guess. Either way, I appreciate you guys hanging out, watching, shooting the breeze with us, and listening to our shenanigans. hopefully it was interesting. I do be keeping it fresh at the end, as always. So next time we'll start with Tripp getting caught. No running near the pool, Tripp. I'm going to toss you in a cell. Love you guys. Do what you do. Stay safe. Stay nerdy.
To you.
And we'll catch you on the flip side. Peace. We're outie.
Ciao.